How are you? It's great to see you here. Let's give it a minute. We have some more people coming, and just about in 37 seconds, we will get to it. Thanks for waiting. Great. So once again, hi and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for our live launch of the Keboola MCP Server. My name is Pavel. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Keboola, and here with me I have Jordan, who is leading our AI labs. So what's going on today? Well, the story actually starts 15 years ago. For the last 15 years, me and my co-founders have been building production-ready pipelines, and we've seen a lot, like things that break down, retries, midnight crisis, everything. So, like about 10 years ago, we started to build tools for data engineers to actually build the pipelines better. And around 2017, it really hit us. We started to see the future where pipelines will be built with the help of AI. Honestly, nobody knew how it's gonna look like. Nobody knew it's gonna be LMs or it's gonna be agents. We just had that conviction that that's gonna happen, and for that we had a conviction that we need to build a platform which will be easily accessible via APIs end to end, and that will provide everything from integration, governance, security, and just work. And so that's why we built Keboola. And only until 2022, late one, you remember ChatGPT launch, we were just hoping that this will happen. And people were like, wow, why do you build it end to end, right? We're like, well, it's gonna come handy, you will see, because that's the logical step. And then when ChatGPT was launched and everything started to be, like run by LMs, we're like, okay, this is it. So first we launched CLI to actually work with the APIs. It was great, but I didn't get wide distribution because it's very hard. And it was last year, November or December, right?
Last November.
Yeah, last November when Anthropic launched their MCP server, we started to work on that right away. We were six, I believe, to actually have it on Anthropic dashboard, and it was pretty awesome. And our vision and hope was that this will actually change the way how we build production-ready pipelines. That we can talk to the pipelines and they will just start working. So we put it in the hands of several testers and customers like Groupon, thanks Joseph, and Rory guys, and Jim Beam, and Marcus, and others, to actually test it. And we still worked on that day and night and improved that. And I'm very happy to share with you that today we actually are bringing our version 1.0 of Keboola MCP Server live. So as of now, everybody can actually use it. So what does it do? So if you think about, okay, I'm waiting for the graphic, so give me a sec so you can actually see it there. It was working before, right? Like every time. But hey, half an hour ago, our internet went down, so we are okay now. So if you think about MCP server, you can connect it now to Claude or Cursor very easily, and it will actually allow you to interact with the whole data platform underneath that. So you can actually work on the data movements, integrations, you can write your transformations, all the database operations, you can actually start scheduling jobs, and it's everything exposed via semantic layer. So what that means, it actually works. So this is enough of talking. I think this is really revolutionary. especially in the night and age of agentic systems. And we people, we can always come up with workarounds. But agents, like they need something which works and they can predict how it works and it gives them outcome. And everything like all the governance is embedded in that workflow. So that's what we are presenting today. But I will give the mic to Jordan and he will actually show you live. So thank you for joining and let's have some fun. Let's build the future today.
Thanks,
Sure.
Pavel. I'll go ahead and dive right into it. So I'm going to share my entire screen here, and hopefully that'll pop up nicely. And I'm just going to walk through the actual flow that hopefully many of you would be going through as you go get set up with the MCP server. So I'd click Get Started here. That will go ahead and take you to our wizard where you'll be able to sign up for a new Keboola project, which will ultimately land you here where you can actually get started building different data pipelines. I already have a completely blank new project set up inside of Keboola, and I'll be using this to kick off the demo and show you how I can, in essence, vibe code a data pipeline from beginning to end and hopefully get some useful information in here. So to do that, I will be using Claude, and the first thing I actually need to do is go ahead and set up my integration, which should be right here. And now I can go ahead and click connect, which will take me to the Keboola OAuth page where I can select the project that I'd like to use uh, and get straight redirected back into Claude here.
May I have a question, Jordan? So you don't need to provide any token like it was previously. Nothing, you just click, right?
Correct. It is a very seamless experience now to sign up and get
Mhm.
started with it. We've implemented the best practices when it comes to security and working with model context protocol, so you can use it very seamlessly as you're trying to get started here. And now just below, you can see Keboola is active with 31 tools that we have available. I can scroll through these quickly for all of you, and you'll notice various tools related to things that you can do inside of the Keboola platform, create SQL transformations, work with our components to build out your ETL pipelines, even query our documentation, and put it all together in flows, run your jobs, everything like that. So to get started here, I have a simple use case in mind that I'm going to try to perform now. So I want to get, help me collect all of the active extreme weather alerts
Why would
from
you do that? Are you from America
NWS.
or what?
I am from America, indeed. Uh, and there are a few reasons why I want to do this one, but I want to be able to demonstrate A, the power of using these clients, and actually, hopefully, I've prompted it well enough to understand that it's going to want to pull in uh, to Keboola. Let me actually try to be a little bit more specific with it. So I'm going to stop Claude quickly and say, uh, add all of the weather alerts to a table in Keboola for me. And now Claude should be able to go through and still access the internet, be able to pull in the information it needs about the documentation for the National Weather Services, and then actually bring that into Keboola. So again, it's going to go try to find exactly where it should pull this data in from, and then start with the process here. Uh, it will hopefully find the exact API endpoints we need, and then figure out how we're going to need to be able to connect that into Keboola here. So to do that, it's going to need to, after understanding it, figure out what components it should actually be able to work with here. And let me maybe try to coax it a little bit further. Uh, so now I'm actually going to stop it maybe once more and say, can you use the generic extractor for me? um, which should now, with all of this information, go ahead and actually try to add this into Keboola. So now we can see the tool being evoked here, and I'm going to allow it to always, in this case, be able to find component IDs as they exist in Keboola. So here it's going to go take this natural language query about what components we have available, and then hopefully return back a component ID for me, which we can see is done. It's going to keep requesting some permission because I've just set up this extractor or this MCP for the first time. And now that it's resolved the exact component that it wants to use, it's going to go get some examples so that it has some information to work with as it tries to build out this extractor for me.
If I may comment on that, this is really interesting for me because like I usually start, this is great example. The context is the key for alarms because like I usually when I start with the new projects and MCP and Kibble, I would just like first ask, LLM to summarize what is in the project. Then it actually knows that I'm talking about the project and about Keboola. And when I ask the agent to go and find some API on the internet, it automatically understands that it should be working with Keboola. But guys, this is really, I think, like really magical, at least for me. Like I've been working with tech for over 30 years, and just the thought that I can imagine the data I want, and something goes out, finds the data source, and something else is used as a tool, and the data is automatically warehoused, and I can work with that. It honestly, if you would tell me just a year and a half ago that we will have that and it will work like this, I wouldn't believe it. And it seems like a magic to me.
So let's actually go ahead and check out what it's done so far. So what we can see is this brand new configuration that has been created by the MCP server. The first version of it is here. And it looks like it was able to correctly pick the different endpoints that we're going to need. And I thought that it tried to run a job here. It looks like, though, it has failed. So I'm going to go back in and say, it looks like the job has failed. Can you go in to check the error and fix the extractor? And now, being able to help automatically resolve some of these issues, Claude is going to go find exactly what I'm talking about inside of Keboola. It already has access to that ID, and then get the details of what exactly has gone wrong. And we can see here, uh, it seemed to have an issue with getting a CSV file. And so let's see if it can go ahead and try to resolve this issue by updating the component itself and fixing it there.
And one more, take on that. We were thinking what we're gonna show you, and we decided, like to show something live, because like demos are great and you can rehearse them, and we have a couple of those. But we're like, hey, this actually is great, and we need to show how you also, do debugging with this, and how you read the documentation, how you describe codes and everything. And just a note before when Jordan is working, if you go on YouTube and there are, in descriptions, there are all the links for documentation and everything. There's also a link to our Discord server, which will be live and active 24 hours till Sunday. So, like when you are building, you have a question, you can just like go to us, and we will actually answer. And one more thing, there is a link to Product Hunt. So tomorrow we'll be actually launching Product Hunt campaign. So if you can join us and upvote us, it will be very much appreciated. Back to you, Jordan.
Great, thanks. So it looks like our second attempt at fixing the job here has not fully worked. Claude is going to go ahead and try one more. And at the same time, I think I'm going to try to ask Claude to double check the actual API information. Can you review the NWS API to double check that you have all of the correct information, and then try to fix it once more? And here, it's still actually okay. Now we can see that Claude has actually gone ahead and figured out a little bit more information about what might be wrong. So maybe I'll hold off on asking for any additional changes and see if it has figured it out now after the third try. And if we hop back into Keboola quickly, and I go back into this component, we probably wouldn't notice all that many changes here. I would imagine that what has fully changed here is the mapping that has
Mhm.
now been created through the MCP to actually take that API response and turn it into a table for us. But it looks like still that run has failed. Now let's go back to Claude and see if we can hopefully get it to uh, figure it out. So it looks like it's going to go ahead and pull in a different component to try to do this. At the same time, I will uh, let it work and see if it can maybe use this new component to make it happen. And because it is just going to try to grab a CSV, I think that this could be a good approach here. So if I go back into Keboola and maybe try to get a little bit of information about what's happening, we're actually seeing a new component that's gotten
Mhm.
generated here, and with potentially a simpler setup for us to be able to pull in this information. So let's see what Claude can do with that. It should also be monitoring the status of the job for us to see once we can get that error or success.
By the way, Jordan, where does the data land in? It doesn't, Keboola doesn't have its own storage, so where does the data land
That's
in?
a great question. Hopefully, uh, once something has succeeded, we will get our data to show up directly inside of BigQuery here, where the backend for
Mhm.
Keboola actually exists. Uh, so now it looks like something new has gone on, which is that uh, we successfully executed the component, but it looks like it still didn't pull in any data. So now I'm going to try to actually get Claude to go in a slightly different direction for me here. So if I stop, it should work with the generic extractor. I'm going to go ahead and try to get Claude to uh, redo this and maybe even go into a new chat to make it happen. So help me pull in data from active extreme weather alerts from the NWS using the Keboola generic extractor.
I think this is good, Jordan. Maybe we can also show, like how it
Absolutely.
works when the data is already in and how we create a more robust pipeline.
Absolutely. I think that is another great idea. So, I of course have a few other projects to work with. I'll let Claude work in the background and then maybe pull up another project for us to be able to connect into. So let me go ahead and go back to my integrations here, and I'll switch my plan. And now I'm going to go ahead and connect to a new project very quickly. I'm going to choose a bit of a demo project from one of our customers, Ascend Climbing, where we can
Mhm.
actually start to explore what's going on here.
I really like the way how you don't have to copy the tokens and everything, just like click and it connects. So,
It is indeed
yeah.
very, very useful. So I'm just going to give it a second here for hopefully these tools. Oh, I can enable them myself. Great. So now I'm going to say, can you tell me about my Keboola project uh, that I have connected? And Claude should very quickly infer what exactly I'm asking for and choose to call the new MCP server for me that I've just set up. Uh, and it looks like great. It's found the project and now wants me to offer some maybe more detail
Mhm.
about what I'm trying to look for here. I'm going to say, tell me about what data I have available related to yoga classes. This is a climbing gym. They have a lot of different classes that are going on. So let's go ahead and try this. And now through this project, and maybe I'll show it to you in just a second here, there's a whole host of different data sources that are already being connected in. And now through that semantic layer that Pavel
Mhm.
was mentioning, we're able to identify the exact correct source of information based on all of those semantic signals and then start working on top of it. So now it seems that Claude's found some relevant tables and it's going to go need to go get the schema for those tables to understand how it should start to query it for me.
I have two questions here, Jordan. Like you mentioned this semantic layer, I did as well. Can you elaborate a little bit what it does, and why it's important for the MCP?
Yeah, sure. So there are a few pieces to it, right? One example that we kind of found internally, which was kind of interesting, is that we refer to Salesforce as SFDC in our
Mhm.
entire data model. If you ask any AI what SFDC is, you're not going to get the answer Salesforce very, very often. You will get it sometimes, but not the entire time. And even that disconnect makes it very hard for a user who is familiar to
Mhm.
calling it that to be able to refer to it when they're actually working with AI. So this helps us actually store the information where the data lives when it comes to what are you actually referring to. The descriptions and documentation of all of your storage objects also live inside of Keboola.
Yeah.
And now we can see the MCP server actually going ahead and running a large number of queries across all of these important tables that it's found to identify some of those yoga classes and hopefully get some information back to me. So I will let this run onward for a second, and maybe I'm just going to check very quickly to see if we've had any progress here. It doesn't look like Claude has fully worked on.
One of the things I really love, and you can see it in Claude, but once you start working with Cursor or when you work with Evan, it's kind of like that you can run multiple sessions in the same time. And I think that the work is really changing. You start, like you say something and give it a task, the agent, and then you work on multiple things at once. And this is really really awesome. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And the great thing is you can always go to Keboola and you can see all the jobs and retries and everything because and you can debug very very efficiently.
That is exactly right. So it looks like we've gotten some information back about all of these yoga classes, and as well as some recent attendance numbers. So maybe I'm going to say now, can you build me a dashboard to display the popularity of all the classes? And now Claude, after having queried that information, should be able to display it back. This is that kind of bespoke data analysis, right, that you're able to do, really interactive EDA also in this vibed way so that you can understand your data incredibly quickly without having to go through the nitty-gritty details. So I'm actually just going to hop back because I am myself very curious about what has gone on with our extreme weather extractor. So I'm going to say, try once more with the generic extractor after double checking the NWS documentation and kick that process off so that it's kind of running for us in the background here, and I'll hope it doesn't require many tool approvals. And hop back over to what we were just doing to see if we have our report hopefully ready. Okay, or perhaps I didn't fully send that question when I went left. So now, hopefully Claude will go ahead and start to build out this dashboard for me.
Sure. While we're waiting for the agent,
Yeah,
one thing which I think is also important is for people to see how does the help page look like, and there's a GitHub page for the MCP server. Can you show that URL as
absolutely.
well?
So our MCP server is entirely open source. So if you even search Keboola MCP GitHub, you will hopefully find it very, very quickly here, and you're able to go read through the documentation. This now is mostly referring to how to run it locally, which again is no longer necessary as we have our remote MCPs set up. But there is all of the detailed documentation here. The purpose of our MCP server overall is to provide the standardized tooling that LLMs expect. So it's not just that it's meant to be used in these clients, it can and should be used when you're building out your own agentic systems using frameworks like LangChain and everything else. That is incredibly powerful and what we have built the MCP server to enable our customers to do. And then again, for our customers now, if you go to help.keboola.com, you will see our AI features page here with, again, a high-level overview of the MCP server, as well as instructions on how to go and get connected to it. For all of our customers right now, inside of project settings, you will notice now the MCP server tab where you can go and again, quickly grab that remote SSE URL for you to go connect into your client of choice and be able to get started using and testing. We also list all of the supported tools that we have here on that same settings page in your project. And you'll see the settings page very, very quickly as well after signing up for a new project.
And one more point, for me, this is a really important step because it's not MCP server is not just for humans, it's for agents, right? So they can actually work together. And one of the things for you guys, we are already integrated with Nain and Crew AI, and a couple of other frameworks are coming very soon. So you'll be able actually to do everything we do here from those frameworks, and I think that is just a different goal game. So
Yes.
let's take a look at our couple of agents running against the MCP server.
That's right. It looks like we have the dashboard being built out here, and it should be able to show us all of this information. It looks at the same time, we can see what exactly has happened since we've left here. So after querying this table, we have hopefully been able to start to execute some of these SQL queries, and we'll now get this dashboard created for us. Okay, so maybe if I go through this really quickly, we can actually go ahead and see these statistics from all of the different classes, right? How many people have checked in, and we even building us out this reactive little interactive dashboard for us to go break things down. So this is all live queried on top of the data that's not stored inside of Keboola, specifically inside of BigQuery. and able to be surfaced in all of your leading AI clients of choice.
So this, I think this is awesome. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit what all tools are available via the MCP server? So what is all the things you can actually do?
Absolutely, sure. So if I go through it again, even here, again, inside of Keboola, a lot of what you'll see from this is very much what you would click through as a human in the menu of our platform, right? So being able to get all of your components, understand what you've built out, and then build new ones on top of them, being able to work with SQL transformations, Python transformations as well,
Hmm.
and then actually, again, I work and update all of your components if there are any errors. You're able to query our documentation through the MCP, so you don't need to go necessarily to help.keboola if you don't want to. You can use the MCP for that too. And you're able to actually create flows too. So bring all of your extractors and
Very cool.
components together into a full end-to-end flow that you can then automate and
Mhm.
schedule to run every single day.
So it's not only integration, but automation of everything, and agents can actually do it, which is like really cool for me.
Exactly, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And again, guys, there is a BigQuery backend, there is a Snowflake backend, as a transformation backend, and we are adding more and more of them. So that is kind of like really, really interesting. And of course, you can activate the data not only in Snowflake and BigQuery, but you can activate in over several hundreds of different systems. So not only integrate, get the data somewhere from somewhere, transform it, but also activate it in your SaaS tools or databases, MySQL, Postgres, MSL, everything Oracle. So I really believe this is the foundational layer for the agentic world, and I really, really love that. By the way, I just get Carol, the chat people are trying to write in chat. Some people have trouble with that, but that's it. And somebody actually pinged to me that Avery just posted a great an article. I don't have it right now here, but like that's actually on the LinkedIn, so it might be interesting to see. But I think it's about time we actually, like end this live demo. And because everything that is longer than 20 minutes, is just too long for me. But I wanted to also, like point your attention to our Discord server once more. If you go to keboola.com/mcp, there are all the links. If you go to GitHub, there's all the description. If you go to help.keboola section AI, you can actually see everything there as well. And please remember that for the next 3, 4 days, actually, we'll be having live support through via Discord. So anything is, like any question you want to ask, you can ask. And tomorrow we are gonna run product hunt campaign. So if you can try it by then, and you can probably write a video. If you build a video, we're gonna share it. We're gonna comment on it. So please share with us what is the art of possible today. We've built, like I think hundreds of use cases by now. We also have a library of use cases and their system prompts ready for you. So we'll be launching those. We'll be launching those over next couple of days, so you can actually get the system prompts and run it. And more is coming out. So remember, this is just the beginning of the agentic revolution. In the background, we are already working on something which is built on top of this MCP server internal in Keboola, and how we are rethinking how we actually work. What is the workflow, right? And this is next couple of weeks. Kind of, it works internally, and I think we'll be polishing a little bit, so we have something else to show you during the summer. So once more, thanks everyone. If you like this, try it, write a post, give us a star on GitHub. That goes a long way. And yeah, just be active, and we'll be there for you, support you. So I really want to know what you're gonna build. I just can't imagine. I think I have a pretty big imagination, but some use cases people come up with are just like obviously insanely great. So have a great summer, and looking for vibe coding. Let's data wipe the pipelines into production. See you there. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone.